Have you ever been interviewed about this before?
No.
Oh
Nope.
my, wow.
Mom, go away. I'm recording a podcast. Recording a podcast.
Welcome back to Verified. My name is Carlos.
My name's Shane.
Today we have a pretty phenomenal guest, someone I was blessed enough to go to the same middle school with, a master tattoo artist, genius marketer, and someone who's just come out with art gallery or art showcase called Intergalactic Mind Control. So we're going to be talking about what that is and like what her inspiration was for that, as well as what she wants to do in the future. So Kendall, how are you doing today?
Hi. I've been good.
Awesome to hear. From what I know is you have a really impressive set of skills. You're really good at what you do based on what I've seen. How did you get into art, broad brush it at first, art in the first place?
So when I was 5, I recreated the Starry Night photo by Van Gogh. Then freshman year, I took Art 1 in high school, and I sucked at it. I thought I was really bad, and everybody else was really good. And then I took, again, Art 2, sophomore year. And again, I thought I was really bad. But it was basically, I picked the wrong art style, and I pushed myself to be too realistic with my art. So over quarantine, I guess, I started experimenting. Fun fact, I'm actually colorblind. So the colors I chose when I was in Art 1 just was not good. So I experimented, and now I stick with blues and do funky art. I think I did a portrait of Hunter Schaffer with rhinestones and different magazines, and then after that, I got inspired to do Intergalactic Mind Control. So
I guess talk about Intergalactic Mind Control.
So freshman year, AP art student came in and presented their whole project they did the whole year, and it was based on mental health. Sort of the focal point was monsters, and it was gruesome, and they used blacks and browns, and I never related to that. I never felt that way. I have depression and stuff, and I never thought of it that way. So I related it to space. So that was sort of the whole focal point, and then I sort of wanted to do something to show negative impacts of social media. So I set it in the early 2000s. So everything was shot on VHS and camcorders and old TVs. So that was sort of went into it.
And you're talking about the promotional stuff that you're is all the early 2000s stuff, right?
Never done graphic design before. I've never tried graphic design, so I taught myself how to do it right before I started.
Really impressive that you were able to do all of that, and what in the span of
4 months.
How do you get from A to B? How do you come from an idea and then get something like this? How does that work?
First, I start off with the actual pieces. I do it all at night. I never paint during the day. So it usually starts around 12 a.m. and I end at 4. And I did this every day for a month creating these pieces. So I start by just sketching out, I guess, when I'm drawing. And then I go into it with colored pencil, watercolor, glitter, whatever I'm doing. And about that whole month of July, June, I was working on that. Then I transferred to graphic design and had to upload it through the computer and add it onto it with digital art. Then I did the promotions and everything a couple weeks ago.
You start with a physical thing and then you kind of transfer it over and then add more.
Yeah, so that's why it looks like it's glowing.
4 a.m., huh?
So I'd work till 2 in the morning, then I'd wake up at 7, and then I'd end school at 10:30 at night, because I take night classes for fashion as well.
There's a caption that goes with each art. I don't know, did those just come to you, or how did you think of those?
Yeah, so this is pretty funny, but I'm probably really illiterate, and I can't spell and write, and I'm very visual. Challenged myself to, add a writing portion to it. And I listen to a lot of music. Those are lyrics from songs that I chose that sort of matched the piece.
When it comes to the messages that you're trying to convey, or what were those messages?
I like a lot of the box things and not ordinary stuff. I wanted them to be a little bit uncomfortable. Sound weird, but I wanted to be unique and not something they've seen before. So doing a picture of just magazine cutout eyes is very me, I guess. I'm not very straight line. I like to do weird things to sort of spark a reaction out of people.
Yeah.
So when I wanted them to go on this, I wanted them to be a little bit uncomfortable, but accept it, I guess, and maybe realize bad things come from social media as well as good marketing tools. That's what I was like. I want feel weird when they looked at it.
What you're doing is like kind of different. Was it kind of difficult to put this out here? Like finally, like be like, I'm gonna put this out there, see how people react to it, and then how other people respond to it. So like, what was that like for you? Like putting this out here when you did?
I was nervous a lot, and many times I was like, I'm not gonna post this because I never really post on social media. I guess I just started to post a little bit more because of like what's going on in the world, and I want to share, that. But I was like, I'm gonna spend 4 months working on this just for somebody to swipe past it and not look at it and be a waste of my time. But then I sat down one night and I'm like, you know what? Let me just do this for myself because then I can prove to myself that I did things sort of cool. And I was like, if I have like even like 10 people view it, I guess that was sort of a success in my eyes. See how many people view it, and it's been a lot. So. It's just crazy for me to think about that.
How many people have seen your website?
350.
How many?
350.
350. Okay.
To me, it feels like fairly interpretive, but this aspect correlates with like the bad aspects of social media.
Destructible sort of went with like your ego, I guess. Your eyes are like 2D in my hand. That's like all the people watching you when you post something out on there. So a lot of could be interpreted the person feels when they look at it. I sort of was going for. Any way that the person looks at it and feels something, then that's already a win for me. It doesn't have to fit in what I think or what another person thinks. As long as you feel something.
Was this like the first art gallery you've done?
This is the second one. I did one before this. Down. I didn't like any of the stuff I did. Pop culture, so I drew famous rappers and stuff. So made clothing. That was there, but I took it down. I just didn't like the theme of it. It meant nothing to me.
Are you planning anything in the future? Like another gallery in the works maybe?
Hoping to turn this into a brand. I don't want anybody else using that name. So I'm going to try to keep adding more to it and stick with the theme because I feel like that's very me. Also, I sell my art, so if you need like a portrait, I could do that. I can do architecture drawings. They're all on my thing, but I'd rather stick to this.
So you said you work at a tattoo place, right?
I create the...
Oh, you create like the artworks that people get on their skin permanently?
And I apprentice.
On the top of being like a tattoo apprentice is like, how does it feel knowing that like people get your design on their skin permanently?
A couple people have already. They have my drawings on their skin. It's weird, to be honest. I never thought that would happen. It's exciting, too, to see it, like, on a body. I remember when the person texted me they got Curtis dancing. I drew him, and I did the tattoo. And then I finished, and I saw it on this person. I'm like, crazy that they have this on their body for the rest of their life.
Your biggest dreams, your biggest aspirations, what does that look like? Let me hear it. Where do you want to be?
Like learned under like designer Christian Cohen and Jason Wu. And I guess they just inspired me. I'd love to be a designer and just becoming a graphic designer to do graphic design.
If the world was normal right now, and do you think you would be as invested in what you're doing right now as you are right now?
I don't think I would have done it at all. I probably wouldn't have started it, period. I guess it was the negativity from school. Like, I don't look at all what I look like today, and I think I owe it all to quarantine. I could now draw what I want to draw. I didn't have school telling me to draw. I could wear, the weird outfits I want to now, because nobody can tell me not to. So it sort of just gave me a bunch of freedom.
Do you think you would have found this kind of stuff like in college, or do you think like you would have taken a completely different path?
I don't even think maybe I would have done that. Even went to university. I didn't think I was passionate about anything. I wasn't. And if you were talking to me like a year ago, I literally sounded like a robot, had zero personality.
Yep.
I don't even think I'd know where I'd be without this.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy and you want to help us out, you can follow us on whatever podcast listening platform you're currently on. We really appreciate it. If you want to check us out on Instagram, you can find us on Instagram at verified.talk. We post updates there, some clips, highlights.
On my Twitter, KENDALLCM on Twitter, KENDALLCM_ on Instagram. If you try to hit me up on Snapchat, you're not going to reach me.
Check out Kendall's stuff in her bio. She has the link to the art gallery or her Intergalactic Mind Control, where you can take a look at all the stuff we talked about today. Thank you guys so much once again for listening to today's episode, and we'll see you guys later in the week for a new episode.
Mom, go away. I'm recording a podcast. podcast. Recording a podcast.
Making art. Pew, pew.